Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now we are working with this 3D eggs and flower set from Spellbinders, and this is an add-on to the Ferguson, and it has an egg die. This is the Ferguson die that I'm going to be working with as well, but we're going to primarily stitch the egg, which I've got 3 of the 4 sides of it all the way stitched and ready to go. I've got my Fergus jacket and hat, and I've got a bunch of felt pieces die cut out and ready to go so that we can assemble. So I did most of the stitching on the egg just to save time on the video because it would have taken a long time. And I figured out a way to where I could just stitch up one side and then go across the top of the egg to the other side and then back down and then come across and just do it. And so what I've got left right now is just my final side that I'm going to go all the way up and all the way down on is what I'm going to do. And then I'll bring the bottom piece in and add it. So basically what I did was I went across, one side up and then down the other and then back up and down and then over to the, then put the other sides, and I went across the top, and now I'm going down the side of this and I'm going to come back up it. And it was just the quickest and easiest way for me to stitch this. And I have found, I got some felt off of Amazon that cuts brilliantly, and you can see all of my holes. And you can line them up and see them and go easily in and out of them, and it really has helped improve my stitching and kind of keeping my lines a little bit straighter and not, kind of missing the holes or whatever. So I've sped this up as I'm going up and down this because I don't think you want to sit and watch me do this forever. And we're just going to get the side of this egg stitched up and ready to go. And I'm going to go back up, and I'm going through the middle, the point of the top of the egg. You've got to kind of connect your points when you get up there and just kind of finish the actual top of the egg off real nice. So I'm just going back up, and here we are kind of at getting near the top, and I'm just going to run a couple stitches in the top just to finish that off, and then we'll put a quick knot in there, and then we'll just cut it off. And I've slowed it down so you can see the knot. But it really is an easier one of the, I'm looking for my little scissors. This is an easier one of the felt stitched dies to work with. So I just need to stuff it. Here's the piece that goes on the bottom. It's just like a square. And I'm just using large cotton balls from my bathroom for this. This is what I've used for all of my felt decor, and it works out just fine. I'm going to pack this pretty tight with several of those cotton balls. And then the weighted material that I use to weigh my eggs and my Fergus down, Sandy that put these dies together, she uses lizard litter for hers, which are like little sandy or little rock, tiny little pebbles or something, I don't know, lizard litter. But I went to Hobby Lobby and looked for something, and they suggested that I used crushed shells, and that's something that they had, or little rocks. And I opted to go with the crushed shells. I think they were less expensive, and I thought the rocks would be bumpier than the shells. So I'm just dumping some crushed shells in there to add some weight to the bottom of it. And then I'm going to bring some more of my cotton balls in after I clean up this mess I just spilled. And I'm realizing I can't set it down. So I'm going to grab my cotton ball and pull it apart and shove it in there and cover up these shells. And it'll make it to where you don't, kind of feel the hard edges of the shells or anything. And now I'm going to add that square. I'm just going to get my needle, my thread, and my ready to go. And we're just going to sew the bottom square on and close up our egg. And this is going to be fun. Now, I think last week I did my St. Patty's Day Fergus. And so then this week we're doing the egg, and we're going to do our spring Fergus. So now I have a spring one as well, an Easter or spring Fergus. And so I'm just going to start stitching. I'm going to get my stitch started, and then I'm going to add my square to it. And I'm kind of out of the camera there, but And I'm just going the easiest way. I'm not doing the forward and then backward stitch. I'm just kind of blanket stitching around this is what I'm doing, and it was the simplest way for me to do it and the fastest. And I have kind of modified how I've been stitching the Fergus and some of these things. The first time I followed Sandy's advice specifically, but her stitching is much more lengthy than my stitching, and I've kind of enjoyed the way I've been stitching it, and it has saved me time. And I'll tell you, the jacket and the hat that I'm going to adorn here later in the video, I stitched those better than any of the other Fergus jackets that I've stitched so far. Of course, I've gotten plenty of practice, so I'm getting better at it. But as I finished it, I realized that I stitched it better. Now for these sleeves, you can go just in and out of the holes very quickly and put your floss in there and then just go in and out. I pulled the thread out, and then I'm just going to re-thread it, and we're going to go back inside of it. I've done all of them, but I think this last one, and I just wanted to show you that little trick that you can just kind of weave it in one hole out the other and just pull it through and just kind of make fast work of it. And I did tie a knot to start it, and then I'm going to bring the end back up to where I started and just tie a knot in those, and we'll just have a double knot there. And then I'll trim it down. And I will tell you guys, I have got to get a detailed tip glue gun. I'm still using the one that I had. It is clean now because my grandson cleaned it, but it does not have the appropriate tip for this type of gluing. And so you'll see me fight the glue and kind of get messy fingers and have to pick some of the strings and some of the blobs off. So I zoomed in so you could see this is what our little tulip looks like. I've got ink on my finger, and here's my big old clunky glue gun, hot glue gun. And I'm just going to start gluing these up. You've got a couple of layers of the tulips, and then you've got like an inside piece, and then you've got the kind of fingery pieces that you're going to put inside of that. And this will give kind of the tube look to the tulip. And I'll assemble this a couple of different ways once I get the hang of it, and it'll start to work out better. I'm looking for my tweezers, and I just got some new ones, so I'm not using them. I'm using my older ones for the hot glue. And this is just kind of how it's going to look. I'm just kind of separating those little finger pieces so that they'll look like the stamens or whatever, and just giving it a press in the center of the flower. And there we go. Super cute, super fun. I did use some lighter green on these leaves. I might have liked it better with darker green, but I thought the lighter would work well with the purple that we're laying it on. So I just sped up the assembly of the rest of these because the first one I kind of showed you in real time so that you could see how they go together. And I'm just speeding this up to put the rest of them together. And we're going to get them all assembled, and then we'll lay them down on our egg. And I'm doing all 4 sides of the eggs with these, I think I called these tulips, and these are daffodils. I do have tulips. There are tulips that are included with this die set, and we're going to use, I'll show those on the back of the Fergus jacket. These are the daffodils, pardon me. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but anyway. So there we go. We got the daffodil in there, and we're going to lay the leaves down with it. And I'm just putting some glue, hot glue on there and giving it a press down. Trying to use as little as I can so I don't make a mess, but it does get a bit stringy and a bit messy. And so we're just going to get all these laid down. And I apologize for the lighting. I don't normally use natural light, but today I did. And so there are some shadows on my desk and some shadows as I'm crafting. And we're just going to get all 4 sides of these decorated with our daffodil flowers and our kind of long leaves. And I chose a dark green floss to go on the light green just to kind of make it look like the veining or whatever. I think I might have been happier if I'd used a lighter one because it shows every little misstitch or whatever. So I'm going to get it laid down. And I do have two different colors of purple. I've got a lighter purple felt and a darker purple felt. It's just what I had enough of in my stash. And I thought it could be interesting to just have a couple different colors. And I did die cut out some blue ones. I didn't finish those, but I do have those die cut out so I could have a purple egg and a blue egg. And it'd be fun to have a pink one as well for my 3-tier tray. If I get a minute, I might go ahead and stitch another one or two. So we'll just get the rest of these leaves laid down on here, and this is pretty much going to finish off our felt egg. And just get a little bit more hot glue laid down on there, and we'll get our last floral center piece and get it laid down there. I think this is cute. It's a super cute little set. Very fun. And you can see the light purple and the dark purple. Now we're going to work with the Fergus jacket. Now I have got a little bit smarter since I started working with these. And I am, instead of making a body for every one of these, I'm going to share the body with them so that I don't have to keep making the bodies to the Fergus. And I can just make the clothing and just change the clothing out seasonal. And I've got several different colors. I've got a white one, a white body, a gray body, a pink body. So I've got a variety, and I can mix them up. I'm going to bring the gray one in with this because the white one that I did for Fergus, I gave him a red beard. And for this one, I want to use a white beard, so I'm going to use the gray body. And it was the one I had for my winter Fergus. So I'm just layering up these floral centers, and we're just going to get them laid down on our jacket. I'm going to tuck in some leaves. I've got that one stuck to my finger because we've got glue everywhere. Just giving it a push, and this is when we're starting to get messy with the glue. And I'm going to pick the strings off. So I definitely need to get a fine tip hot glue gun. Now here's where I'm going to bring in the tulip. And I'm just going to use one and put it on the back of the jacket. I suppose I could have paired up maybe 3 of them on there because I did have several die cut out. And we're going to bring in some leaves and lay down. And then we'll bring in our two-tone tulip is what I've got. I've got like a dark pink and then a lighter pink. I'm giving those a wiggle so some of those stitched circles will fall out so you can actually see kind of see the holes on there. And then we're going to bring in our floral elements here. I've got a dark pink and a light pink, and we're just going to layer them up. And I'm getting a little messy here. And I'm going to just get it glued down on our stem. And we've got our little tulip there. And I really like these bigger flowers here. I think they look nice on there. The pink really pops off of the blue. I'm going to layer up another couple flowers and get them laid down on the hat. And then we're going to have our spring jacket for our Fergus. So we'll put some glue on there and get it added to our hat. I think the hat looks nice. And I didn't even put the decorative elements on the jacket where you do the blanket stitch around the edge of the jacket and around the hat. But I think it looks nice. So here we're going to layer the orange and the pink together. And then we'll just bring in another purple center. And then we'll add it to our hat. And then I think I stick some leaves on there. And I think it looks very springy, very cute. I like the way the pink pops off of the blue. So I'm going to tuck some leaves in. Pick off some glue strings. And there we go. Super, super cute. Now I've also got some little purple buttons, and so I'm going to bring those in and put them on my jacket. And I think they're cute. And you can see I'm getting the glue strings all over the glass mat. Fortunately, those glass mats clean up very nice. And you can see I've got bits and pieces flying around from my gluey mess. Now here's my little gray Fergus with this little white beard. And I'm just going to get him dressed in this spring jacket and add the hat to it. And I think he's super cute. Isn't that cute? I was trying to put a pin in there and it didn't work out for me. I've been using hat pins on him, but I'm not going to use it. And so trying to get that glue off of there. I think it looks super cute. And then we've got our little egg. And I've taken a picture so that you can check them out. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.